really does.
In his op-ed in the New York Times this week, Russian President Vladimir Putin made his plea to the American people. Now, here's how he reacted to President Obama's address to the nation on Tuesday. He said, "I would rather disagree with the case that he made on American exceptionalism, stating that the American state's policy is what makes America different. It's what makes us exceptional. Well, it's extremely dangerous to discourage people to see themselves as exceptional, whatever the motivation." Joining me now to grade both Presidents Putin and Obama, the editor of AboveTheLaw.com, Ellie Mistel, retired Gunnery Sergeant from the United States Marine Corps, Jessie Jane Duff, and President and CEO of FreedomWorks, Mike Huckabee. Great to have all of you guys here. Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we're going to do a little schoolwork here today. We're going to grade Vladimir Putin, President Obama, and see how they did. First of all, let's start with Vladimir Putin. I want you to give him a grade on his leadership ability this week, and we'll ask you to make the grade. We'll hold him up, and then we'll see what you want to say about it. All right, here we go. Hold up your grades. So we have an A- from Matt, a B- from Jessie Jane, and a KGB from Ellie. Ellie, I don't remember getting that grade in school. I think I'm probably glad.
Yeah, I mean, you were playing movies earlier today. You were showing the movies for our president. I think Putin right now is like Khan in the Star Trek movies, right? I mean, we can trust him a little bit, but he's going to turn on us in a second, and we have to be ready to blast him in case that happens, right?
I think that's probably right. All right, Jessie Jane, you gave him Putin a B-.
I gave him a B-. Okay, a lot of his op-ed was factually incorrect, so I didn't want to go into the details of that. I felt he was very inconsistent with saying that he was supporting democracy and freedom, yet he is in this so deep. He has supported Assad. He has supplied weapons to Assad. However, his argument was very convincing, and he outsmarted us by getting the op-ed published, and I thought he was driven, he was focused, and he was basically saying, now what? B-.
B-. Okay, so some red marks, but an acceptable grade. He gets to move on to the next one. Mike Huckabee, you say A-.
A-. In terms of political propaganda, it was almost perfect, except he couldn't resist taking that shot at American exceptionalism. Of course, you usually fail the class for lying, and I think ultimately that's what's going to happen.
All right. Let's take those down. Let's take a look at President Obama. Let's give him a grade on leadership this week. He certainly has had his moments in the sun, to say the least. So let's see what we have. Well.
Wow, you guys are tough graders.
Oh. Tough school. Ellie, I'm going to start with you again because what is the question? Is that like the incomplete?
It's incomplete. The semester isn't over yet, right? I mean, look, I understand. Look, I think that the president is trying to keep us out of war. I don't know if he's going to succeed. I don't know if this plan is great. This plan is a little bit like the hokey pokey, right? We're putting our drones in, troops out, we're shaking things all about. Like, it's not, I don't pretend to fully understand his plan.
He doesn't either. It's okay.
But his plan has not come to fruition yet. We're not through this yet. I think it's a little bit premature to be failing people. These are tough graders.
Well, let's find out why they did. Matt, I'll try you next. You have an F-.
F-.
Okay.
Well, on any test, you can't give multiple answers to the same question. So in that sense, he just didn't get it right. And more importantly, he tried to skip the class completely by going around Congress. Happily, the American people insisted that he do that.
Good point. All right, and Jessie Jane.
I have to look at this like a Marine. My leadership is inconsistent, not showing any fortitude, not demonstrating that there's any logic or reason or why should we do this. I want leadership that makes me feel hungry to commit to what my leader is devoting me to do. We had almost 5 warships in the Mediterranean when he stated this is a national emergency. Oh, but by the way, let's wait a week till Congress gets back. That's not leadership. Honor, courage, commitment. I think he needs to go through boot camp and learn these leadership traits.
Oh, okay. We're going to show you a little video. This is General David Patraeus on his first day of teaching class at the University of New York. Watch. Well, the one guy almost got creamed by the boss who just wasn't paying much attention. General Patraeus, as a four-star general, is probably not used to that kind of treatment from a bunch of college kids. And, you know, this is a guy who spent his life dodging bullets and bombs. And I found it incredible. I want to see what your grade is for David Patraeus. Excuse me, for the students. I'm sorry. We're going to grade the students.
Yeah.
Good thing, because I was going to say, gee, Patraeus did fine. All right, Matt, let me start with you. You give the students a C-.
Well, I happen to teach community organizing for a living at FreedomWorks, and the first rule is to show up. And so they get a C for C- for showing up at class. But the point of protesting is to bring people to your side. And they were so rude and they were so obnoxious. I think they made the case for General Patraeus. And if they really want to go after war criminals, why not go after the guy that hired him twice, promoted him twice? He lives on Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C.
Interesting point. All right, Jessie Jane.
You know, having been a Marine, I found it very offensive, of course. And the general ate sand for years in making a plan for this country and devoted his life to service. However, what they were doing was exactly what we defend, freedom of speech, and I had to understand that. So I was very torn with this, but watching the tape, there was such an outrageous display that made them lose their message, one. Two, they almost looked like they were on the verge of assault. So they ended up looking like a bunch of jerks. So they kind of missed their opportunity to be successful with their mission.
All right, Ellie, real quick.
I have the same kind of similarly low grade. I mean, look, the point of college is to figure out how to take your debates and make them intellectual and strong. It's not to sit there and yell, boo, like you're in Yankee Stadium, right? And that's kind of what happened. So it's a low grade for their lack of kind of intellectualism. If they have a point, they should make it, but just screaming at people isn't really the way to do this. But I'm an easy grader. I'm not going to fail them. These are kids, and kids are going to do kid stuff.
Well, and what they did was certainly kid stuff. I want to say thanks to all of you for your grades. And I also want to just make this point to these kids, to these hecklers. If you're going to scream at a four-star general, his first name is General. It's not David. He earned those stars, and for the rest of his life, whether you like him or not, you have an obligation to respect him. I don't agree with much that President Obama has put forth in terms of policy, but I will always call him Mr. President. He earned that particular distinction, and he will be Mr. President till the day he dies. Now, I can criticize him, which is my American right, but I will respect him. And for a four-star general, I would say to you kids, respect him. He earned you the freedom